So in the last video, all we really accomplished was getting a site set up. We got a URL so that we can go to our site just as anybody else could go to it. So how do we work on the site? Well, there's basically three ways. One, if you're working on a home computer, you can basically stay logged into your site all the time. Just go to your URL and you can start working. From any given page, there'll be an edit button at the bottom. If you're working on a public computer, you can go to WordPress.com just like you did to set up a site, and you can click on Login, or you could also just go up here, type in your URL, your address. Remember, that was mine at antiguahome.wordpress.com. And when we click that in, there we are at the site. And because I didn't click and log in, or I'm not on a public computer, or I am on a public computer, let's say, this is what the world would see. Notice there's no edit button right there, so they would have a choice to make a comment on what I wrote here, which was just hello world. So what if you get to your website this way? You're on a public computer, you're going in, you look at it, and you realize that you need to make an edit. You could go back to the WordPress.com and then click login, or you can go up to the address bar here, put a / and do admin. Hit return, and WordPress realizes that you're trying to log into your site. Put in your email or username, your password, uncheck this stay signed in, especially if you're on a public computer, and then go ahead and log in. And now you're in what's called the dashboard, which is the back end of your website, the administration part of your website. This is where you do the work on the fly, so to speak, because unlike web design that you may have seen before, where you build a site in Dreamweaver, everything on your local computer only, and then you finally get the website right, then you connect live and upload everything that you've worked on. Here, the case is you can make one page at a time or add one image at a time to a page, and it all works live. You just say, go, like publish, and boom, that page is updated. But hypothetically, someone could be looking at your site while you're working on it, while you're uploading things to it. Important is, how do you get out of here so that someone can't come behind you and monkey around with your site? If you click over here on this little icon here, you can see sign out, and when you click that, it just takes you to the generic WordPress. So there's a good chance at this point that I've assigned you a blog type project where I just want you guys to try to blog to each other to make sure your site's working. So let's go back into admin for this. And let's create another post for your classmates to get a hold of you. So in the dashboard, our editing area for our website, we'll click on post. We'll go to add new, and we just put a title of our post here, and then the content goes here. And as you can see, by looking through here, it has a lot of the features like you would expect in a word processing program. We also have the ability to add images. So in the title here, I'll put, "Hi class, help me out." I'll click down here in the content area. And when we finish typing this, I'll just hit return here. And then I want to go ahead and put an image of myself in this blog post to help people remember indeed who I am. So I'll click on add media here. And then I have the choice of either dropping files here, which can be pretty convenient. So you could just make this, say, a little bit smaller, open up your folder where your image or images are, and start dropping them into here. Or we can just click on select files, and navigate to where our file is located, our image. The only word of caution here is that you probably want to edit your images down to appropriate web-based sizes, and of course we have a whole series of the class that's dedicated to getting you up to speed on that. And the reason being is that I believe you had, what was it, 3 gig of space that you get for free, and if you go over that, then they would want you to pay. But you can see this image here that's a fairly decent size that I've used before is only 46 kilobytes. So we'll click open. That brings us into our media library. And as you might recall, you should always use alt text with an image. That's only fair to those who experience the web via a reader. I would encourage you to experiment with the caption in the description. At least for now, I wouldn't experiment with these attachment display settings, but just be aware of them. So for down the road, you may want to do all kinds of different things. You can also see that later on down the road, if you should change your mind about this image, there are options to delete it. But for now, let's go and insert this into the post. As you can see, the caption that you put in shows up here, and let's say that you don't like that or you want to get rid of it. All you have to do is click on the image, click on the edit button, and make your change to this. Click on update, and it will be updated. And as you can see down here at the bottom, you have more options. And in fact, and we'll go over these more as we progress, you have a choice of what shows up in this editing area based on what you check here. So if ever you hear or see me making a change and you don't see it, just remember that you have the screen options that you can open up and make different choices. But anyway, we are ready to go ahead and publish this. So all we do is come over here, click on the publish button. It may take a couple seconds, and then if we want to preview this, we just click right here under preview changes. And it takes us out to the post that we just made. This is roughly what the world will see when they go out and look at your blog. And you can see right here, this is where your classmates would go in to leave their reply, make a comment. And then here's your previous post, the one we did the first day. And notice it doesn't show the content of this because before long, if you're a serious blogger, you'll have a whole bunch of these. But if the user comes along and clicks on this, then it will open up and they'll see what you had as far as content for that blog post. And what if you come out here, you're perusing your site and you see some errors? Well, you're still logged in. So all you have to do is come up to the top here, click on My Site, opens up the dashboard, and you go to what it is that you wish to edit. So in our case, we'll go to blog posts, and you can see those are the 2 that we have. And if I click edit down here, it takes me into it, and I can say, maybe that makes more sense to put an S there. And then there's a button over here to update. And then we can go ahead and click here once we've updated to go back into the editing area that we were just in. And let's click edit here. It says a more recent version exists. Now, I don't think that's true, but sometimes you'll see stuff like this. So we may as well trust it and say, okay, if there is a more recent version, go ahead and show me. And that's the one that we'll update. And maybe we want to change the tone of this a little bit. And then maybe make this a little more obvious to people who are new to blogging. And then again, we just click on update. You can see it says saving there. And before long, that'll go away. And there we go. It's posted, updated. We can click to view it, or we could just simply go to the site directly. I'm guessing most of you know how to do this, but how would you leave a reply for one of your fellow students? Well, you have to get their URL, type it in. That'll take you to their WordPress website. If they picked a different theme than yours, it's not going to look the same as yours. So don't expect every button and things to be in the same place. Like it might be easy to accidentally roll down here and leave a comment here when this is the post that they want you to leave a comment to. So in other words, watch where the leave comment button is. Make sure you're clicking on the right one. So we'll click here. Now there is a chance that it will ask you to log in before you leave your reply. I was automatically logged into WordPress from a previous site, as you can see right here. This is another one of the sites that I own. And it just tells me that I'm about to blog. Now, I can check this to notify me of new comments via email, which is probably a good idea if you guys are trying to keep track of who's leaving what and when you need to reply. So that would definitely not be a bad idea to check that box. And then once you've made your reply, go ahead and post your comment. If someone makes a comment on your blog, you will get an email that goes to the email address that you use to set up your account, and it'll look something like this. And if you are okay with it, hey, yep, that's fine. But if someone left something rude, you can trash it. If it's just junk that starts coming your way, mark it as spam. And then if it's good like this one, just click approve. It went by that last screen too quick, but it brought me into another screen that just said, hey, you're about to approve this. There's a button that said approve, so I clicked approve again, and then it takes me into this comment section of Blackboard, or Dashboard. And then once again, I can go out to my site. Now look how it looks different in here again. So that's another kind of thing that's odd about WordPress is the back end of the site looks different depending on how you're entering it. I'm not sure what their decision is for all the different looks that it has. But at least there's a consistency where, if you wanted to update a post from here, you would click post even though it looks different than the last time you worked on a post. But no big deal there. And then if you want to go into the site, typically you can click here, click on the name of the site, and it'll take you in there. Sometimes that works. It just depends on what menu you're actually coming from into, so keep that one in mind. But if all else fails, we can just go into the site the old-fashioned way. Now, if another student goes to your website, they'll see that instead of this saying leave a comment like the one below, it'll say one comment, and if they want to read it, they'll click here. Now, that's not always the case. Different themes show different things, like the comments may just show up right below the post. In fact, if you picked a theme that was more geared towards blogs, I'm almost positive that that's how it would look. But anyway, they would click on one comment, and then if they then want to leave a reply, they would go ahead and put their comments in here. And this is what I was telling you before will typically show up when you're leaving a comment on someone else's site. It'll want to know your email, the one that you signed up with, your name, and then the website. And then for website, you can just put in your WordPress website. That way, it kind of keeps the community a little bit cleaner, so that if people aren't willing to put an email and a name on there, they're not just going to be able to send you junk. They won't get through the door. Now, let's say that this is your website and you want to check it out, see what it looks like. Maybe you want to go in and answer the question that was posed by this student. So as I showed you before, we'll just add admin to the end of the name of our website and log in. And in your dashboard, this time you're going to go to comments, and you're going to find that comment, and you can see that if you would have changed your mind about approving it, you can just check there to unapprove it. Or in the case, what we want to do here is we want to reply. Type in your reply and then click reply. It's also worth noting that when you go to this comment sections, you can approve a comment, right? So this one we already approved via email. But let's say that I happen to be working on my site before I went and checked my email and I realized there was a comment sitting here waiting. All I'd have to do is type or click comments here to bring me in there, and then this button would give me the choice to approve it. Remember, when you're done working for the day, you do want to click here and sign out. I have seen the sign out thing pop up over here as well. And And if we go back into the site, we can see that Chris's comment is there and my reply is